A hug lasts 5 seconds, but what it communicates can last a lifetime. Most men think attraction is built with words, money, looks, or clever lines, but often it's built in the smallest moments, in silence, when nothing is being said, yet everything is being felt. And here's the truth. When you hug a woman, you are not just wrapping your arms around her body. You are revealing the condition of your character. You are exposing your confidence. You are exposing your patience. You are exposing your need or your strength. Now, if you want to understand female psychology, understand this first. Women respond less to what you say and more to who you are while you're saying it. So let's talk about 4 principles, not tricks, not manipulation, but timeless truths about human nature. Most men rush a hug. They move quickly. They pat the back nervously. They pull away awkwardly. Why? Because inside they are unsettled. But a settled man moves differently. When you hug her, slow your breathing. Feel your feet on the ground. Be fully present in that moment. When you are calm, her nervous system feels it. When her nervous system relaxes, she associates you with peace. And peace is powerful. Anyone can create excitement. Very few can create comfort. The man who brings calm into a moment becomes unforgettable. Because in a world full of chaos, steadiness feels rare. A hug is leadership in miniature form, not force, not dominance, direction. If you hesitate too much, you communicate uncertainty. If you grip too hard, you communicate insecurity. But when you guide naturally, firm, relaxed, unhurried, you communicate confidence. True strength is always under control. Think about it. The ocean is powerful not because it splashes wildly, but because it moves with depth. Women are deeply intuitive. They sense emotional stability instantly. When you lead gently, without apology, without pressure, you signal that you are comfortable in your own skin. And comfort in oneself is magnetic. There is a difference between holding and clinging. One says, I enjoy this moment. The other says, please don't leave. Desire fades in the presence of desperation. When you hug her, let your energy say, I appreciate this, but I'm complete on my own. That quiet independence is powerful, because here is a fundamental principle of human psychology. We are drawn to those who want us, but we are captivated by those who don't need us. Need creates pressure. Pressure creates resistance. But intention, calm, grounded intention, creates curiosity, and curiosity fuels attraction. Most people focus on how things begin. Few understand the power of how things end. If you hold too long, it feels forced. If you wait for her to pull away, it feels dependent. But when you release first, slowly, confidently, and look into her eyes for a brief second, you create space, and space allows emotion to grow. You see, attraction is like fire. Smother it, and it dies. Give it oxygen, and it expands. The confident man is not afraid to let go, because he knows his value does not disappear with distance. And that security, that quiet assurance, is deeply attractive. Now, let me tell you something important. This isn't really about hugging. It's about the man you are becoming. Are you disciplined? Are you emotionally steady? Are you pursuing purpose? Are you building a life you're proud of? Because if your life lacks direction, no technique will save you. But when you work on yourself, your health, your goals, your mindset, your presence changes. Your handshake changes, your voice changes, your hug changes. Why? Because self-respect radiates. Attraction is not created in 5 seconds. It is revealed in 5 seconds. So build yourself. Strengthen your body. Sharpen your mind. Control your emotions. Develop your purpose. Then even the simplest gesture, a handshake, a conversation, a hug, carries weight. And remember this, you don't chase desire, you cultivate value. When you become the kind of man who is calm, purposeful, and emotionally grounded, she won't just feel your arms around her, she'll feel your strength, she'll feel your certainty, she'll feel your peace, and people are always drawn back to the place where they felt most at ease. Master yourself, and the rest will follow. Attraction does not begin with touch. It begins with presence. Most men believe connection is built by saying the right thing or making the right move, but long before words are processed, energy is felt. Human beings are wired to sense emotional states. We instinctively detect tension, insecurity, calmness, and certainty without anyone announcing it. When you are fully present, your breathing slows. Your body relaxes. Your movements become natural rather than rushed. This state of calm signals emotional control, and emotional control signals strength. Presence means your mind is not racing ahead asking, Does she like me? Or, am I doing this right? It means you are not performing for approval. You are simply grounded in the moment. Psychologically, this matters because a calm nervous system influences the other person's nervous system. When you are steady, others subconsciously relax around you. Relaxation builds comfort. Comfort builds trust. Trust opens the door to attraction. Inspiration begins when you understand that presence is developed, not improvised. It comes from self-awareness, from discipline, from learning to regulate your emotions instead of being ruled by them. When you practice being centered in everyday life, during conversations, during stress, during uncertainty, you build a quiet confidence. And that confidence shows up naturally in small moments. True magnetism is not about intensity, it is about stability. When you master your inner state, you don't need to impress. Your calm becomes your message. And that message is powerful. Real strength is not loud. It does not rush. It does not force. And it does not try to dominate a moment. Real strength is controlled, measured, and aware of its own power. Many confuse intensity with masculinity. They believe being firm means being aggressive, or being confident means overpowering. But human psychology tells a different story. People respond best to strength that feels safe, not threatening. They are drawn to leadership that feels steady, not chaotic. Gentle strength communicates emotional maturity. It says, I know who I am. I do not need to prove it. When a man moves with composure, when his gestures are intentional rather than impulsive, he demonstrates control over himself. And self-control is the foundation of respect. From a psychological standpoint, emotional safety allows connection to deepen. When someone senses that you are stable, predictable, and grounded, their guard lowers naturally. There is no pressure to defend, no fear of sudden shifts in mood. Stability creates comfort, and comfort invites closeness. Inspiration begins when you realize that power is most impressive when restrained. Anyone can react. Few can respond with patience. Anyone can raise their voice. Few can command attention through calm. Gentle strength is developed through discipline, controlling your impulses, managing your emotions, and choosing intention over reaction. When you master yourself, your presence feels reassuring rather than overwhelming. And when strength is paired with warmth, it becomes magnetic, not because it demands attention, but because it earns trust. Desire cannot survive under pressure. It needs room to breathe. When someone feels pushed, even subtly, their natural instinct is to pull away. This is not rejection, it is human psychology. We all protect our autonomy. The moment we sense that someone needs us too much, expects too much, or depends too heavily, resistance begins to grow. But when there is freedom, something different happens. Curiosity awakens. Interest strengthens. Attraction has space to develop on its own. Emotional independence is powerful because it removes pressure from the interaction. It communicates, I enjoy your presence, but I am whole on my own. That message is reassuring. It tells the other person they are wanted, not required. From a psychological perspective, people value what they are free to choose. When they feel cornered, they look for escape. When they feel free, they lean in voluntarily. Freedom creates comfort. Comfort creates openness. Openness allows desire to grow naturally. Inspiration begins when you stop chasing reactions and start building self-sufficiency. When your happiness does not depend on one moment or one person, you behave differently. You are relaxed instead of anxious. You appreciate instead of cling. You allow instead of force. True confidence is not about holding on tightly. It is about being secure enough to let go. When you understand that your worth is not tied to someone else's response, your energy shifts. And in that shift, attraction becomes effortless because it is no longer pressured. It is chosen. Attraction is not created in a moment, it is revealed by who you have become over time. Every interaction reflects your inner discipline, your emotional stability, and your sense of direction. That is why self-development matters more than any technique. When a man lacks self-mastery, he seeks control over situations and people. When a man has self-mastery, he controls himself. His emotions do not dictate his actions. His confidence does not depend on approval. His value does not rise or fall based on someone else's response. From a psychological perspective, consistency builds trust. People feel drawn to those whose behavior is steady and predictable, not reactive or impulsive. Emotional control creates reliability. Reliability creates safety, and safety allows connection to deepen. Inspiration begins when you realize that self-mastery is built in private, long before it is noticed in public. It is developed through discipline, through honoring commitments to yourself, through working toward goals even when motivation fades. These habits shape your presence. A man with purpose does not rush connection because his life is already full. He does not cling to moments because he understands there will be many more. His calm comes from knowing he is moving forward, regardless of outcomes. When you invest in your health, your mindset, and your character, your presence changes. You speak differently. You listen better. You move with intention rather than urgency. And that is what people feel. Not effort, but substance. Self mastery turns insecurity into composure and uncertainty into quiet leadership. And when someone senses that you are grounded in yourself, attraction is no longer something you pursue. It becomes a natural response to who you are. Conclusion of the above paragraphs. In the end, this is not about a single gesture or a single moment. It is about the character behind the gesture. Presence teaches you to slow down and control your inner world. Gentle strength teaches you that true power is measured, not forced. Emotional independence teaches you that desire grows when there is freedom, not pressure. And self-mastery reminds you that attraction is a reflection of who you are becoming. Every small interaction is a mirror. It reveals your confidence, your discipline, your emotional control, and your purpose. When those qualities are strong, even the simplest moments carry weight. When they are weak, no technique can compensate. The deeper lesson is this: build the man, and the moments will take care of themselves. Work on your calm, strengthen your character, develop your purpose, master your emotions. Because when you become steady within yourself, your presence naturally feels reassuring. When you become independent, you stop seeking validation. And when you stop seeking, you start attracting. True magnetism is not created by trying harder. It is created by growing stronger. Become the kind of person who brings peace instead of pressure, confidence instead of chaos, intention instead of impulse. And you will discover that connection deepens naturally, not because you forced it, but because you earned it through who you have chosen to become.